Welcome everyone to this episode of Right Riches Talks. What we want to do today is to explore the notion of multiple streams of possibilities and what that looks like and some of the choices that we've got to actually create these multiple streams of possibilities that have revenue attached to them, but the revenue is not the possibility. So let's talk about what do we mean by the multiple streams of possibilities. So, Chitissa, you've had some really interesting conversations with people as time's gone on. How would you describe multiple streams of possibilities?
We specifically use the term multiple stream of possibilities. A lot of people thinking about it as multiple stream of revenue income. But as soon as you look at revenue or money, you diminish the infinite possibilities that you can have. So if you look at multiple stream of possibilities, you start looking at the state of being that you could be. What would it be like if you are being the multiple stream of possibilities? If you are being a multiple possibilities, meaning you are being an infinite being, you're not limited by just one single possibility that most people think they have. Most people tend to function from this immutable law of this reality where they think there's only one possibility. They define themselves as the role that they're playing in. You know, some people define that they are a doctor and that's all they know what to do, or they are an engineer and that's all know what they do, or they are a facilitator and that's only one possibility for them.
An energy worker, a chiropractor, whatever it is, a mother.
Any of those limit you from having the multiple possibilities in your life. So first key here is to inspire you to become a multiple possibility, to be out of control, out of definition, out of form, structure, and significance, and out of linearity. So you can become a multiple possibility being that you truly are.
So Lale, what do you find when you're talking with the many people that you talk with, when you start talking about multiple streams of possibilities and then they go straight into looking at just, well, how do I make more money? What are some of the insights that you've seen and you've come across?
Yeah, and it's so funny. It doesn't matter who they are or how long, they've been in their line of business, whether, like you said, it's such a mix of population that we get to talk to. It's all the same. The feedback's always the same, is that they've identified themselves based on their title or their role. And they've limited it to just the income that comes from that. So instead of looking at, wow, what are the many things that I actually do well? What are things that I actually really enjoy doing? But then take it to, what are things I've never even explored? What I love is this question, what else is possible I've never, ever considered?
Good example, when someone call themselves as a doctor, general practitioner, they never actually ask, so what else can I be and do beyond being a general practitioner? So they just go into work every day, open their practice, sit there and work with the sick people all day long and then go home. And we have met so many general practitioners, doctor, who's totally burned out and really not happy being a doctor anymore. And we often facilitate them to look at, okay, you are being a doctor, and what else is possible? What else can you add to your life? What else can you be and do that you allow you to have multiple stream of possibility and multiple stream of income beside being a doctor? And it seemed to surprise them that, oh, I can be something else. I can be more than being a doctor.
And it's interesting because when most people hear this, they go into, well, that means I have to stop being a doctor. No, it doesn't. It just means, and what else, as well as, not instead of. Yeah. And so, we've come across many, many people that have wanted to leave their past career behind and do something totally different. Well, hang on a second. What if I could do my past career totally different? And why not leverage off the skills, the experience, the scars that I've created, that I've got over the many years of being this, and actually use that to my advantage, but in a very different way. So it doesn't mean you have to leave your job. It doesn't mean you have to stop being what it is you're being, but what else is possible as well as, rather than instead of.
Steve, can you say more? Because I get that's where people kind of go into this little world of beyond. Like they're like, wow, one, that's something they never thought was possible. They thought, I chose a career. I'm going to do it till the day I retire. Every day I am going to go to work and do it to the best that I can. And then I'm going to come home, eat dinner with my family, maybe not with my family, whatever that is. Like there's this like programmatic way of living. So when you do have that general doctor, and now you're actually opening them up to more curiosity of what else is possible, what are some questions? What are some ways of actually bringing that alive so that they don't just immediately go into the how, but know that the possibility is beyond a dream?
We use the example of doctor because that's a very low hanging fruit to as the example, but you can be anything. We can unpack different possibilities for any definition that the person defined themselves as. We would invite people to stop defining yourself. Stop defining your role as a wife, a husband, a mother, a doctor, a chiropractor, the artist. I mean, let go of all the definition and be in the question about what else can I be and do that allow me to have multiple possibilities in my life. And that's the first question. If you can actually let go of the definition, the form, structure, and significance that you create your life around, and start perceiving and receiving that I can have multiple possibilities in my life. Now, what else is possible? What else can I be and do different that will allow me to perceive and know other possibilities in my life? And not trying to get the answer and just sit back and say, oh, I love that. Maybe I can be a doctor who bakes a healthy cake. There's a lot of doctors who's such an amazing cook. So how can they integrate the two things together to create something else totally beyond what they think is possible?
Their own YouTube channel. But the funny thing in this, Lale, is that this is an exercise that for those of you who are listening, you might want to consider doing, because it can be a lot of fun and can make you a lot of money, but don't do it. And that's where you can actually look to see what are the definitions that you have bought as real in your profession or in the role that you've taken on, and list them down. List these definitions of this is what my profession or my sector or society says, this is what needs to happen. And then you list each one of those down, and then you take them and turn them 180 degrees. What if it wasn't like that? What would it look like? So you can actually take what others have defined and take those definitions and turn them to your advantage by saying, well, what if I could be a general practitioner, but not have to open up my office every morning? What would that look like if I was to do that? Oh, well, maybe I could do some online consulting. I'd never thought of that before. Or maybe I could, and then all of a sudden it starts to open up the other possibilities. The only thing that is limiting us from looking at different streams of possibilities are the definitions and the limitations that we've bought into, usually imposed by others.
It's, wow, yes. I'm like really looking at this for me too. And I'm like, okay, as we're having this conversation, you know, what part of my life am I still defining in a certain way to? What part of my business life am I still defining this way to? And I'm like, wow, there's still many places that we do define based on, like you said, everything around us, whether it's society, the roles that we say there, or even our profession and the industry and what we are and what we're not allowed to do. I remember when I started my second business, the first thing that everyone said to me is, but your first one has only been around 5 years. Like, isn't it too soon? How can you have another business that you're starting? How it just went into like the craziness of the impossibilities, where I was looking at truly what are the other possibilities and what would be fun for me to create and add to my life. Because you said that earlier, Steve, and I love that question. I ask it every day for me and the businesses. It's like, what else and who else can we add to my life today? Can we add to the business today? Because it is about adding to your life.
The difficulty with people looking at creating multiple streams of revenue is that they will often look at what they currently do and look at how they can just spin off little bits from that. Well, that's fine, that works. But what if there was so much more available as well too? What if we actually started to change our perspective and our point of view, that there were multiple streams of possibilities out there? And if we were willing to look at those multiple streams of possibilities, and each one of those had multiple streams of revenue attached, all of a sudden you become unstoppable, because there's always something out there that is another possibility that with your talents and abilities you can actually bring to birth, you can actually bring to life. If you're one of your talents and abilities is to procrastinate, well then how can you leverage off that? I don't know. I'll have to think about that one next week. But it's not judging any of these things. It's just being willing to look at the different points of view and to recognize that there are absolutely multiple, infinite streams of possibilities, that if you're willing to look at what they might be, and each one of those has revenue streams attached, you cannot help but be more innovative and create other possibilities in your life, which then create other choices, which then create other possibilities. It's almost like the infinite generating machine of possibilities.
But the key thing, though, that we were talking here is that when people hear multiple stream of possibilities, they immediately jump into doing, and for us, it's all about being first. If you think, oh, multiple stream of possibilities, what do I need to do? Who need and get to do it? What else do I need to do? People tend to go into do. So what we are saying here is, if you would like to embrace the notion of multiple stream of possibilities, choose to be first. Choose to be the multiple possibilities that you could truly be. And then from that space, you can create and generate your life infinite way, from that space of multiple possibility that you could truly be. It's a weird and wacky ideas, but I love that. I love talking to people about stop thinking about doing, being. Once you have the ease of being the multiple possibilities, can you feel that energy? The ease of being multiple possibilities. Can you define yourself in any way? You just can't define yourself if you choose to be the multiple possibilities. And then once you have the ease of being multiple possibilities, the ease of doing that will physically actualize those possibilities with revenue attached would be so easy. But when people start thinking about doing first, they shut down true possibilities quickly. Just like that.
They tend to force things into existence rather than to ride the wave of possibility and collect the revenue on the way.
I like that. Yay, I love that. I think that's the best way I've ever heard it.
We are weird and wacky, aren't we? The three of us work with a lot of facilitators as well. And we can look at that a lot of facilitators only think that there's one way to facilitate. And we really would like to invite the facilitator, all the facilitators, to become a multiple possibilities being, and to know that they can create and generate multiple stream of possibilities in their business.
Now, just a little hint for those that are watching and listening this. If you've ever found yourself thinking, now I would be more successful if I had more people, or if I made more money from this event, realize that you are not choosing to be the multiple streams of possibilities. All you're trying to do is to do more of what you've already got, and that is your definition of success. Good luck with that one. What if you actually started to change that whole question, that whole way of being, into, well, what are the other multiple streams of possibilities that I have that include what I'm currently doing, but do not exclude all sorts of other possibilities? What would that look like? And each one of those will have revenue streams attached. And if you start to get excited by that, then you'll actually start looking for what these other possibilities are. And the only reason we don't tap into that is we don't even know they're possible. So we refuse the multiple streams of possibilities by not being aware that there are multiple streams of possibilities. And so the first thing to do is really to change your point of view from this is what I am and this is what I do to I am actually a multiple possibility being. Now, let's start from there.
Wow, this is so amazing. These conversations, Steve, no one's having them. You know, I mean, when you look at, you know, I don't know, any kind of training or anything in business or even in your life, like there is not a lot of training for your life. But I'm like, what if every single one of us from our childhood knew this was available? You know, what if every single person in business knew that there are multiple streams of possibilities available with everything they're being, everything they're doing, everything they're adding to their lives? And like, what kind of world would that create? I don't know. Sometimes I am the dreamer, you know, just like, what would it take if all of us knew truly that this universe is infinite and we're infinite and the possibilities are infinite, and so are the revenue streams? Because it's not about, like you said, excluding the revenue streams, but it's not making it be the only sole focus.
There's so many things we can talk about that will inspire you to see different possibilities.
So I think on that note, we might call this talk to an end, and we will look forward to the next episode where we will be exploring more the multiple streams of possibilities and some of the tools that we can use in there and some of the conversations that we've had with other people. So until then, from Lale Hancock and from Chutissa and myself, we'll say bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.